The boy. He wasn't tall, maybe 4 feet, and not very old. 5? But he was tough, and he wasn't giving in. He stood defiant, clenching his fists at his side, backed up against the bed where a still form lay beneath a thin breadspread. Dried tears stained his face, his shirt collar, his sleeves. Still damp, so these were no idle childhood tears, but the stuff of anguish. Before him stood a half-dozen giants. A policeman with a pained look of empathy. 2 firemen with a stretcher between them. A priest, an elderly woman with a damp handkerchief. And a young man, about 20, his own face streaked with tears of loss and pain. But the boy held his own, like it was Tiananmen Square. "You can't take him! He's my papa!" he yelled. His face grew fiercer as his eyes welled with more tears, threatening to spill over and run down his face and his chin and his neck, soaking his already damp collar again. But he held them back and yelled again, as if that would change what had already passed. "He's my papa!" And this time it was too much. His last word turned into a stifled sob as the tears reached his eyes, liquid pain overflowing in a deluge down his pale cheeks. "But he's my papa!" This time a negotiating plea, to the universe, to the men before him, overwhelmed with their own emotions. He looked up at them, devastated by a loss he can't express, can't explain, that he can only feel. A world torn asunder, searching the men's eyes for solace and relief. And finally at the tall young man in the front of the group, sharing his pain. An invitation. And with that, the young man knelt, and the boy rushed into his embrace, slinging his arms around his neck and burying his face in his shoulders, his small body racked with sobs, immediately echoed by the young man and the woman. The young man lifted the boy in his arms, squeezing him tight, both sobbing in sorrow and pain. They stayed that way for several moments, as if honoring their grief until the young man regained his composure and looked at the other man. He nodded at them as to say, "It's okay." And they nodded back, wiping their own eyes and stepping aside to let him pass.